What would you say some of the mistakes are that people make, attorneys make when it comes to being on video?
Oh my gosh, it's the mistake that everybody makes, and it's lack of energy. The camera, microphone, the lens, all of it is energetically flattening. What I mean by that is you've got hardware, you've got software, you're probably recording your video maybe on your laptop on Zoom, which you should not do. Always record on your phone. The audio is better, the video is better, the whole
With,
nine.
with that one, really quick,
Yeah,
I use
yeah.
Camo app. Is there some other app that you recommend for using your laptop with your camera on your
I
phone?
I never use, I always just record on my phone. I use the
Okay,
camera app on my phone. Um, a lot of people record on like Zoom, for example. Zoom's audio is very compressed. They don't have the bandwidth for everybody to use it. So the audio doesn't sound great. If you're recording a podcast, that's important, right? It's important,
interesting.
period.
Okay,
One of the easiest workarounds is just put your phone on a tripod and shoot on your camera there, right? You've got 4K likely access to
yeah,
video, and that's broadcast quality. If it doesn't look broadcast quality, it's probably because you're framed poorly, or the lighting is bad, or your audio is bad, which are all easy fixes. Now, what was your original
yeah. So
question?
I the mistakes that attorneys make,
Ah,
I
that's it.
threw yeah threw you
Yes,
off.
yes,
Yeah,
yes. No, no, no. So energetically flattening. So you've got a microphone, right? Quality is a little bit degraded as it goes through there. Your vocal variety. You've got a lens. It looks a little bit different through the lens than it does when you're in person. So that is a little bit energetically flattening. Then you've got the fact that you're sort of in this little box and there's no context,
yeah.
right? For you or for the viewer. You can't see what the viewer is doing. The viewer can't see what's going on around you. And then you have the psychology that goes into speaking on camera. So without belaboring it, you view most people who are afraid of speaking, whether they're on a stage or they're in front of the lens, view the audience as a predator. It goes back to our reptilian brains and the way that they're designed to keep us safe. And it's, you might hear it referred to as the ego. It's the thing that wants to keep us small so that we don't make idiots of ourselves.
Yeah.
And so when you are in front of the lens or you're up on the stage, um, when you're viewing the audience as a predator, the last thing that you want to do is make loud noises or big gestures. That's a sure death, right?
Sure.
Again, if we go back to our reptilian brain. So we shrink, our vocal variety reduces, we tend to, not use our hands, we sit stock still, our facial expressions, maybe we stare, blankly into the camera or whatever it is. If you are if you think you're delivering with energy, and I know this was a very painful lesson in the news business, record 30 seconds of video and go back and watch and see if the energy with which you thought you were delivering is actually what's coming through. 9 times out of 10, it's not. Here's a way to get around that. If you imagine yourself at a noisy restaurant, and let's say you're at a table of 8 and you're down on one side and you're looking to talk to somebody who's clear at the other end on the other side. What are some of the things that you would do in order to make sure that person understood you over the din of the restaurant around you? You may lean
Yeah.
forward when
Speak
things are
up.
exciting. You project your voice a little bit more. You may use hand gestures to emphasize, I did 3 things today. You hold up 3 fingers. Conceptually, that's exactly what you want to do when you're on camera. Now, there is some nuance because being on camera can be like an intimate environment as well, because it's just you and the person who's watching you, really.
Yeah.
Um, but conceptually, that's exactly what you want to do.
I can't wait to watch back the beginning of this episode
Okay.
because I had a stressful call before
I
this, and I
know.
was I was very frustrated, and I really do wonder what my energy was like. So in a situation like that, and
Yeah.
I don't know if my energy was good or bad.
Yeah.
I'm assuming it was bad, but I tried to make it good.
Yeah.
So let's say that you're on the other side. You clearly have great energy. How do you combat's probably not the right word. How do you balance whenever the person that you're on the show with or
Yeah.
on the camera with has got low energy and
Yeah.
you want to bring up the energy?
Right. So I never hesitate to say bring yourself down. That's not what I mean. But you need to be authentically you. And if you have a lot of energy, that's what you need to bring, right? I usually try, when I host a podcast, I usually try and prep my guests. I go through that explanation with them. Sometimes they need a little bit of media training prior. But I walk them through this. This is what the camera's going to do. This is why it does it briefly. And here's how you overcome it. So, there's nerves that most people need to work through. But I find as the conversation goes on, it gets a little bit easier. This is very conversational.
Sure. Yeah.
I didn't think you had bad energy, by the way.
Well, good. I'm glad. That's good. That's good. That makes me feel better.
But I think also it's a little bit of rapport building. So, if you're having a conversation with your guest or you're having a conversation with your host prior to turning on the camera and starting to record, have a lighthearted conversation, something that brings the energy in the room up. Because at the end of the day, you could royally screw things up and you're going to be fine, right? You're going to be fine. Like I have a couple of Emmys on my shelf. They were not perfect shows. I was not perfect in them. And I screwed up royally more times than I can count. But it never affected my ability to get a job. It's not going to affect your abilities as a lawyer either. So recognize that. It feels very high stakes, and it's important for you to sound authoritative and credible, but one mistake is not going to damage you.